The Vale of Shittim is the lower half of the Jordan Valley between Jericho and the Dead Sea. As Genesis describes it, it is a volcanic plain full of slime pits and is still used by the Bedouin as a meeting place where they gather before crossing the Jordan every year into Palestine. For 2 or 3 days they come down there with their families and flocks and herds and camp on the river bank, waiting until they're collected before they cross. Then the horsemen and the camels going first, they cross over using all the many fords there are in that district. You see that the foals always run loose by their horses. Here are the families coming down. Now they're bringing the sheep down to the bank, and in a minute you'll see how they take them across. There's another foal running loose. The camels are sometimes a nuisance because at the sight of so much water they are apt to run amok and have been known to be lost for 3 days or more. All these herds, as a matter of fact, were got across quite safely. The Jordan's not very wide, nowhere more than 30 or 40 yards, but it flows swiftly. And here they are taking the sheep across, holding them by the ears. They go downstream in the shallows, and then when they get to the deep water, they swim across, still holding the sheep by the ears. The women and children go across on rafts made of goat skins blown up with air and joined together by poles. There are some Assyrian inscriptions of these rafts, which shows you how old they are. And now the camels are getting towards the other side. It takes 2 or 3 days for a big tribe to cross the Jordan, and the Israelites must have taken much longer, although no doubt the young men armed crossed in a single day. Once across the Jordan, the Israelites would have found themselves in a dead flat plain about 5 miles long, leading up to the oasis of Jericho. There you can see the oasis, that black streak under the mountains in the right of the picture. And it is said that Joshua had 40,000 men with which to attack the city. But today, archaeologists believe that Jericho never in its history withstood a siege, and that about this time its walls were destroyed by an earthquake. In a minute under the mountains, you'll see the remains of the city which Joshua took. There it is, that mound in the top of the picture. Those are the remains of the walls which were destroyed by an earthquake. And in thinking of the Promised Land, you mustn't compare it to England or Europe, but to the desert of Sinai through which we have just come. And then perhaps you'll see why it seemed to them a land of milk and honey. And so they began to settle. The camels which they had used for fighting were turned to the plough. And ploughing is another instance of the minute accuracy of the Bible, when it says, "He that putteth his hand to the plough." Because in Palestine the peasant ploughs with one hand, and in the other holds the goad. You can see the man holding the goad here.